All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the 2019 Joker Spoilercast from Collecting Weekly. We're going to run through some minor tech things that Dean's dealing with, and then we'll get started. Also, we'll let people filter in.
Are we on our auxiliary or YouTube?
Both.
Nice.
50-50 vote.
Both. Do you know what terminal is, Dean?
No.
Click the... do you have High Sierra or Mojave?
Whichever one's the newest one.
That does not help me. I don't know, my friend. I see what you're talking about. That thing is pretty fancy, though.
Oh. Whoa.
Was that you, Dean?
Yeah.
Excuse you.
Wow, that was...
Where are we live? Is
We've
this
been-
on
yeah,
YouTube
we've-
or what?
Yeah, we've been live for about a minute now. Just waiting for Dean to figure out his tech. Waiting for Dean to figure out his tech.
Oh,
Oh my
shit.
god,
Hold on.
turn that off. PJ, how do I look on the big screen? Do I look good? Does the makeup look good?
Look bitchin'.
Thanks, PJ. Do I look on the big screen? Oh my god. Look good? Does the makeup look
What
good?
the hell? There we go.
I will say, I don't know how the ladies do it. Getting this red shit everywhere, all over my hands, all over everything. It's a nightmare. All right, Manny is not going to be able to make it. I've got 2 people watching, so do you want to get started?
There, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, you okay?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm PJ.
Welcome to this week's spoiler cast of the 2019 Joker film. It is a really good film. I really enjoyed it. I honestly have to say that of all the new movies that I've seen this year, I think it was the best film out of all of them. I don't think it was the most fun movie I've ever seen, but it was such a good film. The directing, the score, the acting, everything about it was really good. What do you guys think about it?
Dude, that soundtrack was amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
movie
love
was
it.
also great, but specifically, that soundtrack was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a thing on NPR. Who was it? She's a cellist. And she was the same cellist that did the soundtrack for Chernobyl. I don't know if you guys saw that
That
show
movie
on
is
HBO.
dope. Yeah, that show's dope.
Yeah, and so so that's kind of her thing, is to make things kind of desolate and lonely, and yeah, it was great. The
Well, she
soundtrack was
nailed
dope. The movie is great. I loved it.
Yeah, the cellist that you're speaking of, I have to agree. She really added a huge amount to the film, and yeah, it really set the tone. Like specifically, the bathroom scene after he murdered the 3 guys on the train.
Yeah.
Right.
I really thought it was good.
That's another, I wouldn't call it a complaint, but a lot of people are dogging on this movie because they're like, oh, he's a killer, which he is. He's definitely a killer. But he only kills like a handful of people. I don't know why everyone's freaking out about this movie. I was under the assumption he was going to like go on like this like murderous rampage, which, if I think of the Joker, it's kind of what I think of, especially rated R. But he kind of just The first 3 killings were definitely self-defense.
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
oh shit, like damn, totally justified. Like I was definitely rooting for him. Like, man, just grab the fucking gun and shoot those guys, which he did. And it was fantastic. And then so that's not like, I don't know, like that shocking. Like if you're getting your ass kicked, you have the right to defend yourself. I don't know why people are freaking out about that. And
Yeah.
then the rest are just kind of, well, one of them's or 2 of them are definitely like fucking crazy, uncalled for.
Yeah.
But god damn,
Yeah.
that was such a good scene.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where you see the transformation too, because to your point, like at the beginning, he only really kills people who he, were picking on him or in his view wronged him. But his last kill, that was just him kind of,
Being a
kind
fucking
of turning already, you know what I
right.
mean? Like it was
Yeah,
just his
embracing
psychologist or whatever. Yeah, it was just embracing it. And there's definitely that turn of him embracing it specific, like in a specific scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And we can get into that later on.
Yeah, so let's run through the opening scene. So the film opens with the Joker, Arthur Fleck, applying his makeup, getting ready to go out onto a street corner to advertise, advertise a going out of business sale. The scene is set where Gotham is in the middle of a garbage strike, lots of unemployment, lots of bad things that are, it's just a bad time to be in Gotham. Yeah. This film's set in the early 80s, and we find that Arthur is under social services for his medication and for some form of therapy. Obviously, it's not the greatest form of therapy, but the opening scene is, of course, Arthur getting jumped, and really brutal scene, honestly. Like it was very real, very really well shot. That scene of him on the ground where the camera kind of pans away from him towards us was really well done. There's a bunch of theories about this movie, and one of those theories is that the jumping that he experienced was all in his head. And a lot of people have tried looking in his apartment to find the sign because, his boss basically tells him that the owner of the store complained that the sign was stolen. And I don't know that anyone's been able to find the sign in his apartment yet, but given how other events in the film transpire, it kind of leads doubt, in every event.
Isn't it followed up by a shower scene? Isn't he all bruised and shit?
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean, I doubt that was fake.
But I mean, there's so many ways that you could, get a bruise. I mean, no, I'm not. I personally don't think that scene was in his head, but there's theories about like almost everything that happens in this movie that it could all be, in his head or, imagined.
Yeah.
So after getting jumped, one of the big catalysts for the movie going into motion is his coworker Randall lends him a revolver, and this revolver really kind of escalates
everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything. His ability to harm and his ability to defend himself. The scene where the gun falls out of his pocket is iconic. That shit was so funny, and he tries to play it off, and it ends up, of course, getting him fired. When he gets fired, of course, the Randall kind of acts as if he doesn't remember giving him the gun and kind of lies about it. And that's another fan theory of, did he actually get the gun from somebody else? Did Randall give him the gun? Do you guys think that, the way that the film portrayed it is how he actually got the gun? Or do you guys think that that he got it a different way?
Well, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, I don't. in terms of movies like this, I will only kind of interpret it the way the movie shows it to me. But
Right.
at the same time, like Arthur Fleck, he's not a dependable narrator. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's
So
kind of
like,
you can't really rely on what we're seeing from his eyes, because halfway through the movie, we find out that many events that we thought were one way were actually not accurate at all. And
Well,
so
that's kind of
that's
my
an
takeaway is the movie shows you what is fake
exactly. Yeah.
on its own.
I mean,
So,
yeah, whatever he made up in his mind, the movie makes a good point of showing it to you later on,
Right.
and there are different points in the movie where you show that what you see is dispelled just through running the course of the film,
yeah.
So
I don't know. I think that one scene specifically where all the different interactions with Sophie was meant to put doubt in everything else that we've seen. I don't know that the movie needed to show us every single thing that happened and like contradict itself. For me personally, that's how I took it. It was just like, okay, so this guy clearly is not he's not well. He's not able to depict to us what is really happening, and that's really how I took it. Like, it kind of put into question everything
but all
that
that
happened up until that point.
after he stops getting medicine.
That's true. That is
So,
true.
Him getting the gun and all that, he still has access to his health care.
Yeah, and the healthcare was cut because the city was shutting down the social services for his therapy. I really liked the way that, not really necessarily the way that Thomas Wayne was portrayed, but it felt very real seeing someone running for a political office making a statement that maybe isn't the best statement to make, and seeing the real public reaction to that statement. It just felt very real.
yeah,
Specifically when he called, the poor people of Gotham clowns, and it really set off the riots. It was very, very grounded in reality, and it's, with all the protests that we have in this day and age,
I'm sure Trump has called a group of people something they don't know.
yeah.
Wait, what?
I said I'm sure Donald Trump has called people a group of people a name they didn't like. So it's very much like
Rooted in our reality.
Rooted in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting to, like, you always hear, in comics. I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go into the comics, but if you just kind of want to see Thomas Wayne as how he's depicted in like movies and like TV shows and stuff, all you know about him is that he's like a philanthropist. Like no one else, not a lot of, people, or there's not this narrative in for instance like the Dark Knight trilogy. All you know is he's a good guy, you know what I mean? Like he can do no wrong. But this film gives you the other side of that coin. Like it definitely gives you more realism, because no one is blacks or whites. Everyone is kind of a gray area, right?
Right.
So I think that the movie kind of gives you that extra dimension that, maybe Bruce only saw what he wanted to see because he was a kid, and his parents were taken away from him at an early age, and when your parents die, all everyone tells you about your parents is how good your parents are.
Right. Yeah. No one ever said, oh, he was a total dick.
He was a dick or whatever, and so this movie kind of turns that on its head. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, we have King Zachary in the chat. He said Jared Leto Joker is my Joker. To each their own, brother. So
hot take.
Yeah, hot take. So as the film progresses, Arthur meets Sophie in the elevator, and they strike a relationship, and I use that term very loosely. And in this relationship, which of course we find out is all imagined, Arthur invites Sophie to his comedy show, which is a bold fucking move. And he bombs pretty bad, though it's shown to us from his eyes that he thought he did quite well. And of course, they went out on a nice little dinner date afterwards. And the whole time
That scene in particular. Sorry, go ahead.
the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, "Where's this fucking kid at?" Like, and my wife said it too. And you know, the actress that plays Sophie is beautiful. What's her name? It's
Zazie Beetz.
yeah, Zazie Beetz. Man, what a beautiful person.
Deadpool too.
It's so cool because
Yeah, Domino.
that should have been your first clue. Oh well, no, it's not your first clue. Your first clue into his delusion was Robert De Niro and like,
Yeah,
him
when he
being
gets
on
brought
the
up
show.
on stage.
Yeah, but so this is maybe the second clue if you're really kind of keeping tabs. But like this scene in particular is, this should have been where you're like, what does this person see in him? Because leading up to that point, everything was pointing towards, well, this guy's bombing, and all of a sudden everything turns silent. He raises his arms, and the movie makes it almost seem like from that point on he's doing well, because it instantly goes onto Sophie's face and she has a smile on her face. So you know what I mean? So it's like it's so great in like the misdirection.
I can't believe I didn't see it, because when she first interacts with him, she's like, "Dude, were you fucking following me all day?" Which is,
Yeah.
I would be like, "Yeah, you're a fucking creep." But she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, like you should have came in. Like
Mm.
if you're gonna follow me, you should have come in." I was like, "Wow, that's a fucking, maybe she's fucking crazy too." I thought in my head, like, that's not a normal reaction. Which,
Dude, and I love how he's like, "Well, I have a gun. I can come back tomorrow." It's like, dude, that dude's a goat.
Yeah.
come back tomorrow and rob the place. Like, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
King Zachary says, "Has any other Joker had Margot Robbie as their Harley Quinn?" Nope. That is facts.
I mean, he's got
pretty beautiful. So of course we advance forward, and after Murray Franklin mocks Arthur, Arthur finds out that he potentially may be the illegitimate son of Thomas Wayne and his mother, and that whole part of the film is very interesting to me. Obviously, like, if you're a powerful man, you can make things go away. You can, I don't imagine that there's people out there with power that can have documents forged. Do you guys think that Arthur is any chance to be Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because there's a definite point in the movie where he's in Arkham Asylum, where he's trying to get all the documents from that administrative office.
Yeah.
And I think that, what he sees in that folder should tell you that everything that she's said could, it casts doubt on everything she said about him and all that stuff. So, but I don't know. Again, Joker is such an unreliable narrator that I don't know.
Now,
that it's possible that the documents were faked.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly...
It's not real.
Yeah, I'm not a person with much power, but I've been able to fuck some documents.
You would think that since he's crazy and he is already imagining things, that if he read it, he would imagine that it did say that Thomas Wayne was his dad. You know what I mean? Like, he's so crazy that he believes whatever he wants by reading it. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, because it's very easy to say, like, well, no, the documents said that it wasn't. He was adopted.
Yeah.
But it is possible that Wayne could have had the documents forged.
I don't know, man. Like, I've had documents forged before. I mean, minor documents, but I think like if you're that, yeah, right. Well, so my dog, my original vet for my dog, the one that passed away, called him a shepherd mix, and I was like, he's not, like when you have shepherd on your dog's breed thing, at like apartments don't want to rent to you because German shepherd, whatever. And so, I was able to have some documents forged by a new vet, and did some photoshopping on my own. And it's I'm no one. I imagine if you're a billionaire, who needs to hide an illegitimate son, I think there's probably a number of people that would be willing to help you facilitate that lie.
And I hide illegitimate sons all the time.
Hashtag Baywatch. So after confronting Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor, Penny Fleck has a stroke, and obviously the stress of her son potentially finding out that he may be Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son, and just all the different things with the police officers and the murders caused her to potentially have this stroke. The big thing that I really enjoyed was the fact that the Joker's makeup inspired the protests, and people started fashioning their. It just felt like the Anonymous mask, like the whole clown thing. I fucking loved it. It was fantastic.
Apparently, you loved it because you're wearing it.
Do what?
Apparently, you loved it because you're wearing it. Look at this.
Wearing what? I'm not wearing nothing. I don't shut up. It's my normal.
Shit, yeah, you're right.
It's my normal Wednesday night.
He is wearing it.
Yeah, right. So I feel like the cops in this film didn't really take their investigation that seriously. Like, they kind of just let them fuck around, do whatever for a while. And I almost wonder how the cops knew, as much as they did. I mean, of course, there was the Children's Hospital incident, but it seems like a lot of what they put together was like, I mean, I guess for the purpose of the movie, it just seemed like their investigation was maybe a little too short. We talked about Arthur visiting Arkham State Hospital and reading the file that he was adopted. And he has a memory while he's reading that file of being, it's not interrogated, but he was in the room when they were saying what had been done to him as far as beatings go. And I don't know. That scene was pretty real. And the big thing after that, my gosh, what was that?
It's his cat.
Right, the cat opened the door. After all this, Arthur kills Penny, which was I felt like that was not that surprising. And goes back to Sophie's apartment, at which point it is revealed that all of everything that he had shown to us throughout the film was not as it had seemed. And I guess the thing that kind of was left open for interpretation was whether he killed Sophie. Once he's back in his house, there's some sirens that are going on, and I could have sworn, I've only seen the movie once, but I could have sworn I heard someone screaming in the hallway. What do you guys think? Do you think he killed Sophie?
That's what I was gonna ask. I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because I mean, if you look at all of the deaths in the movie that he committed himself,
it shows you.
It shows it to you.
Yeah.
And a major character like that, it's not going to leave it up for interpretation.
Or even at the end of the movie, when he kills the psychiatrist off screen, you at least see a trail of blood.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was like in love with her in a weird way. So I don't think he would have hurt her. And like PJ said, it didn't explicitly show it. And this is one of those movies where you kind of have to take it as they show it to you. Because like we said before, he's an unreliable witness. So if the movie shows it to you, oh, he was imagining this, then he was imagining it. Or he was not imagining this, then he wasn't imagining it. So if it didn't explicitly show her getting killed, I don't think she got killed.
Yeah.
That's a good take on it. So after the following day, Arthur is invited to appear on the Murray Franklin show, which was from his gag reel, his blooper reel being shown on the show, which is really fucked up. I'm kind of glad that he got his at the end. And as he's preparing for the show, he's visited by Randall and Gary, and the most iconic iconic scene.
That was such a good scene.
Oh my!
That was a good
gosh.
scene.
So tell me about it, PJ. Tell me about it, Dean.
You go, PJ.
Well, what was he doing before that? He was applying his makeup.
He was applying the makeup.
Yeah. So he was applying his makeup. He gets a knock on the door, and then, a little bit of foreshadowing. You see the scissors that he was using to cut his hair.
Yeah,
I think
tosses them in the back pocket.
He tosses them in the back pocket, and then he opens the door. It's Randall and the little guy, lets him in, and what kind of elevates that feeling of inevitability is that as soon as they get in, he actually locks the door.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, you're like, oh shit, some shit's going down. And I don't know, I forget what, because I've only seen the movie once, but I forget what actually set him off. He was saying, do you guys remember what set him off?
I think they mention, oh, like you got the gun from somebody, and I think that's what freaks him out. I'm having trouble remembering exactly what set him off.
Yeah.
Doesn't he say like, oh, when are you gonna pay me back or something like that? I don't recall exactly what.
Yeah, something like that. But
no, because
anyway.
I remember the taller guy was like, you didn't tell them it was me, or you told them it was me. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
They gave you the gun.
By the way, did you guys watch the first season of True Detective?
No,
I did not.
Oh man, never mind then. For everyone else who watched the first season of True Detective, he's actually the kind of the baddie. So that was, as soon as I saw him, I was like, this is good casting.
Real quick, we got Gare in the chat. He says Joaquin Phoenix is the GOAT Joker for me. And Steven says, Zach, I'm digging the tan. Let's hear the laugh. I can't do the laugh. If I did the laugh, it wouldn't be genuine.
I can.
Has to be unintentional.
Yes.
By the way, we didn't talk about that laugh.
I was gonna get there. I'm talking about the plot now, boy.
Oh, never mind.
No, I'm just kidding. So let's hear it. So what about the laugh? So hit this.
No, let's go with the plot. We'll go with how you plan this out.
You give everybody all the juicy steak all at once. So you gotta.
All right. So real quick,
dangle it.
Real quick, Gare in the chat says the dude gave him the gun and then tried to tell his boss that Arthur tried to sell him the gun. That's what set him off. Thank you, Gare, for that. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I remember it was something about the gun, but I couldn't remember specifically what it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
good call.
Arthur, in a real moment of clarity, let the little person go. I guess that's a political correct term. Let the little person go, and I thought that was such a genuine moment between them because that guy had been like really nice to him the whole film. Didn't treat him like shit.
Yeah, even if the little guy was a punchline of the joke and Arthur laughed, like the little guy knew, like, well, he might not be laughing.
Yeah.
At me, but it's his condition, and also probably had a good sense of humor about it, so he wasn't a dick to Arthur.
Yeah,
I guess it paid off for him.
Yeah. So after this event transpires, Arthur goes to the Murray Franklin show, asked to be introduced as Joker, and it's
first.
In this moment. Yes. So on the way to the show, he sees the cops. Probably one of the most iconic scenes, I think, of this year. I think you have, of course, the Tony Stark, I am Iron Man scene, and then the stairs scene. For me, that was such an iconic scene. The music, the swagger he had, the whole movie, he's been gaunt and really uncertain of himself. And coming down the stairs, he's just full of energy, full of confidence.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, it shows the stairs really dreary.
Yeah.
And drab, and I think he has to go up the stairs to get to his apartment. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of like dragging his feet. And then it gets to this part of the movie, and he's
total swagger.
The stairs and like dancing up and down and having fun, like on top of the world. It's a really cool.
And I love how as the scene progresses and as he gets further down the stairs, you slowly see the cops in the background start to come into frame,
Yeah,
and that leads them to the subway, which
that was a good scene.
amazing scene. That's a bad space to be if you're a cop and there's riots going on in that type of environment. And a protester is accidentally shot, and because of that, the officers that were chasing him were pretty much had the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
And in this scene, Joker steals the iconic clown mask, and man, just really enjoyed that scene. It really showed like the fact that he was embracing what he had become and what he had started, and just the level of confidence. When he gets to the Murray Franklin show, he's in the dressing room, asked to be introduced as Joker, and which is a little bit of a throwback to the initial showing of his blooper reel. And of course, the show doesn't go well. He's brought on stage essentially to be the butt of a joke. And I'll let you guys take over with what happens next.
So he, first of all, I like how when they curtain that little dance that he was making, that
Yeah.
was pretty badass. And it's funny because I watched a an interview with Joaquin Phoenix. I think it must have been on Conan or something. Anyway, he didn't practice at all. Like he was just doing his own thing. Apparently,
Yeah.
he was like a break dancer when he was younger in real life, Joaquin Phoenix or whatever.
I believe it was
Um,
the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon.
Tonight Show. There you go. Which is kind of crazy too, because he's on a talk show just like the Joker was.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so they raise the curtain. He goes out. At this point, he's got his like full swagger on. And then he just sits down in like he's almost like sunk into his seat, almost like he's sitting like almost like a like a mob boss or something. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of swagger.
Yeah, and then it kind of escalates from there. You guys want to take it on?
Yeah, essentially he gets provoked and he fucking loses it and shoots Murray Franklin in the head.
Yeah, well, because he's kind of just talking, and then he's like, things have been like fucking crazy since I killed those guys, and then that's kind of when it turns, because he's expecting everybody to be like, oh, he's the one that did it, but really everyone gets pissed off, like, hey, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Which, if they were there and knew the story, they probably sided with him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even bother explaining it, which is even crazier, right? Already crazy. And then that's when Robert De Niro's character just starts going in on him.
Yeah, and they end up getting into an argument.
Yeah, and it goes back and forth, and then fucking Fleck just has enough and snaps and fucking blows his brains out.
Yeah.
It was probably my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah, and the way that Robert De Niro just slumps back, and I don't know, it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, it was a very like it wasn't like a Hollywood thing, like the head blows off, and it was like a very I don't want to say realistic because I've never seen that happen, but it seemed like it was very grounded in reality, like how it happened. It was very real, and I love it when he grabs the camera and he starts talking to it, and then like it fades out to the board of like all the different things, and it cuts to commercial.
Yeah, right before he says that's live.
Yeah. The movie moves forward, and he's in the cop car. The cop car gets hit by the ambulance, and he is basically amongst the people that he inspired through this movement.
In that back seat, it also kind of mirrors Heath Ledger's Joker when he's in the back seat of the squad car. Almost like exactly the same shot. It's pretty cool. A nice little nod. I think they did on purpose.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And during the riot, which is like the biggest riot of the film, Thomas and Martha Wayne are murdered in front of Bruce Wayne. And yeah, that's
Crime Alley.
Yep, Crime Alley. And of course, at the end of the film, Arthur laughs to himself, which is where a lot of the theories begin that perhaps it was all in his head. Laughs to his therapist, and then pretty much murders her and runs around the hospital from the orderlies.
That would be interesting if none of that movie actually happened.
It's been one of the big theories.
Very interesting.
One of our Facebook listeners says that the scene with him taking the blood and making the smile was fire. And that's Gare, actually. And then Greg says Steve put on the makeup. Yes, I did. So let's get into the performances. Joaquin Phoenix. PJ, you wanted to talk about the laugh earlier. Tell me what you think about it.
So it was, at the beginning of the movie, he just goes into these, fits of laughter, and it's, as a viewer, like the first time I was watching it, I was like, dude, this is kind of over the top. His laugh, this is weird. And then like looking back at it, I was like, that's probably the point. And it's and like that, and it kind of ties into that whole line about something to the effect of the worst thing of having a mental illness is, what is it?
Act like you don't have one.
Like act like you don't have one.
Yeah.
And so it kind of plays into that, which is if that I'm sure it was a conscious effort on the writing and on the directing, and if so, it's genius.
Yeah.
You got jostled.
I think the laugh was really good. It takes something so iconic as the Joker's laugh and turns it into like an affliction. And not only that, but a lot of there's been a few videos of people that because this is an actual real affliction that people have, and the people that have this affliction said that his portrayal of what it feels like to have that those fits of laughter was extremely realistic. In terms of like the pain that it causes you and the social anxiety that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I think that was probably my favorite part of his acting in that role.
Yeah. One of my favorite bits with his laughing is he goes to a comedy club to take notes to better himself as a comedian.
Yeah.
And he's laughing. I'm assuming he's laughing just because he's at a comedy show.
Well, there's 3 laughs that the director has said. There's the laugh from his affliction, which is unintentional. He has a laugh that is intentional, but not genuine, where he's trying to fit in. So in the comedy club, when he's laughing and he's looking around the room, he's trying to fit in.
Okay.
And the third laugh, which is only seen once in the film, is at the end when he laughs with the psychiatrist. That's his actual genuine laugh.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, those are the 3 different laughs that he has in the film.
He's doing in the comedy bar, store, whatever. He's laughing at the wrong things. And he's like looking around like, what are they like? What do they find funny? What's happening? But when something kind of mundane pops up, he thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he starts laughing. Everybody else is quiet, and he's just kind of like.
Well, I think that what you think, I think you're saying that he thought certain parts of the bit were hilarious. Those are unintentional laughs. So I don't think he actually really thought they were hilarious.
I think you need to watch it again. I think
that's the actual director said it. He said the only genuine laugh that's like actual for humor is at the end.
Yes, he's trying to fit in, but even trying to fit in, he's laughing at the wrong parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why these people think this part is funny, And so he's laughing at the thing that isn't funny, and then he's still kind of like, well, shit, they're not laughing at that.
Yeah.
He can't take social cues, and so
Exactly.
that is that might be kind of also a hallmark of maybe autism. I don't know.
That's true. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
He's got all kinds of stuff.
Zazie Beats. Zaza, how do you say that? Zazie Beats.
Zazie, I think.
I really enjoyed her
9M.
portrayal of Sophie. Yeah, right. I really enjoyed her portrayal of Sophie and Robert De Niro. I mean, he just came off as an asshole, and I think that's what they were going for. As far as the directing, the cinematography, and the score go, we've talked about it a little bit, but man, it's just really fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Fernando says, "What the fuck am I watching?" This is the Joker spoiler cast, boy.
I've seen it. 8.
Yeah, you're in the Eat Bros, brother.
8.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this part of the film. Do you guys want to talk about the potential Oscar nominations that this film's going to get?
All of them.
I think this fucking film is going to sweep the Oscars, and if it doesn't, it's a damn shame. I think you'd have for sure Best Actor, Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Score, Best Videography. I mean, I can't see this film not winning a handful of Oscars.
Yeah. Dude, if the music doesn't, I'll be shocked. I haven't seen a movie this year with better score.
Yeah.
I could understand maybe if it doesn't get anything else, just because the Oscar is a bunch of snobs and this is a comic book movie. But for the score, that shit's impressive.
PJ, I know you're a big fan of the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Dean and I touched on this a little bit on Collecting Weekly. Fernando says, I was not expecting that makeup. You all should have put makeup on. Look, man, I surprised the guys. I didn't tell them I was doing this. So,
yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Oh, shit, he has makeup on?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he's just a clown anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so PJ, Dean and I mentioned this, that I didn't mind the fact that it used the Joker / Batman universe to further its story. Dean said that this could have just been a film that, could have just been called The Comedian about just some random dude that went crazy. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know you're a big DC guy.
Well, I can see that. Like, this can be any movie, I guess, about someone who just has a bad day and just goes crazy, right?
Yeah.
But there's definitely, first of all, putting the Joker label on it, you instantly get a ton of viewers.
Right.
Whether or not you're a fan of the, Batman or DC, if you're just a fan of comic books, you're instantly on board. I didn't mind it at all. I think it was, all of the movies that the Joker has been in, well, let's not talk about the comic books because obviously you can, there's all sorts of backstories there.
Right.
But if you're just a casual, film goer or, whatever, there hasn't been a movie that has really shed light on like his background, really. I mean, yes, you have 1989 Batman, you get kind of a little bit of a background there, but it's one event in Jack Napier's kind of life. He gets betrayed by the mob boss. He falls into a vat of acid. There's no real character development there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so
Joker is already crazy, and he has so many different lies that he tells. It's like, well, what is it? Like, why is he this way?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, he instantly, like, that Ledger Joker, his whole character development is that bank heist. But you don't get anything before that. It just kind of already throws you into this thing where he's a badass dude.
Right.
Where this movie does a good job of, it's hard to say empathy because I don't think that's the right word.
Yeah, for sure.
But it makes you a little bit feel for him, and that's what makes it powerful, I think.
for sure at first. Like I said,
Yeah.
up until the point where he kills the 3 guys on the subway, I felt genuinely bad for the dude. Like, fuck, like he's
Yeah.
pretty tough. He's trying to
Yeah.
make the best of it. Nothing that he does is helping him. He still gets his ass kicked. He shoots the
Yeah.
guys. I was like, oh, cool. Like, at least he's got to stand up for himself. Those guys are assholes. Everything after that, I was like, hold on.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude. For
Yeah.
sure.
So
It makes you feel things. I know exactly.
yeah.
Not
And
empathy,
so
but something.
exactly something that resembles empathy. Um. So what was I going to say? It's a tricky movie because when I walked out, I didn't know how. I knew that the performances were great, but I didn't know how I feel about kind of the message of it almost.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but I was like, man, this. I almost felt like this is a little bit dangerous. This what I just saw, might just have been me.
Yeah, I know a lot of people worry about incels and shit.
Yeah.
When y'all saw the
A whole
movie,
other argument.
when y'all
Yeah.
saw the movie, was there a lot of police presence in your theaters?
No.
No, but
See, I went to the movie theater Saturday, but my dad had a concert, so I didn't go to the movie theater and watch The Joker. But that night there was a lot of police there with all the threats of shooting and everything. And then we saw it Sunday,
What theater?
like in the evening. What theater did I go to on Saturday?
Yeah.
There's a Santikos in Shirts,
Okay. The big.
and yeah, it's like a big one in the middle of nowhere. It's huge, and yeah, there was a lot of cops there. I don't know if there's just typically a lot of cops there, but it seemed like there was more than I had seen in a movie theater in quite a while. The next day on Sunday, really, I don't think there was a cop that I could see in my theater.
yeah, I've been listening to some podcasts that kind of, talk about the Joker, and a lot of the hosts, a lot of them live in like LA and stuff. And so in the theaters that they went to, there was obvious like police presence.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of crazy. Talk about.
Gary said that or
Yeah,
Gary,
there was police presence at his theater.
is it Gary Barry or just Gare?
Gare, the beautiful angel Gare.
Yeah, no, I went to the Draft House, Park North, kind of mid-afternoon and nothing.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Out of 10, what are you guys' score of this film out of 10?
Like a 8 or a 9.
Okay. PG, what about you?
I'd say 8.5. I think there were just the beginning of the movie was a little slow for me, and again, we've already talked about it, but it does a good job of making you uncomfortable at the beginning,
And
I think that was kind of
shit the whole time you're uncomfortable.
yeah, but then as the movie progresses, you kind of kind of strap in and you kind of are drawn in. But at the beginning, it just kind of throws you into this life of this person that no one likes and gets beat up and laughs for no reason. And it's still, for me, it's kind of that's what kind of I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know. It's definitely good. I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
No? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but
I thought it was pretty good. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm sticking by the 9 out of 10. Gare in the chat says it was a 10 out of 10 for him. I think Dean has a point. I don't think it's a movie that you're going to watch on a Sunday, because you're bored. I think it's a movie I'll probably watch maybe 2 more times, and I think I'll be good with it. But it's certainly a movie I'm going to buy on Blu-ray 4K. I really liked it. I know a lot of people are kind of saying what PJ is saying, that it's perhaps a dangerous film, that people might be inspired by it. But, I think after the movie, after it's all said and done, I don't think it's going to be quite as, damaging to society as people think. I think
no,
people can
Yeah.
take it for what it is.
Oh, you know,
So I give it a 9 out of 10, and then I give PJ not wearing his collecting weekly hat a 0 out of 10. So
I give PJ a 10 out of 10 because he's awesome.
yep.
I do what I want. I was actually trying to see if you'd noticed, but
Oh, I did.
Apparently, immediately, he's just been holding it for
Been
him.
holding it
Yeah.
back. I had to maintain
we've been
some,
on live for 50 minutes, and he
I
just
had to
busts that
maintain
one
some
out.
level of professionalism wearing the clown
fucking
makeup.
bullshit, hiding his anger until the last second.
Yeah, you know what's funny, PJ? You want to hear a joke? Kidding.
I got these scars. Wrong Joker, my bad.
Well, I think Dean, you gave us a good final thing to talk about, and I know some people like to talk about this, some people don't. But it seems like Heath Ledger's Joker performance for a long time has been nigh untouchable. Do you think that this performance by Joaquin Phoenix has what it takes to become like the ultimate Joker portrayal in film? Or do you think that we don't need to ask that question? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna say a really unpopular opinion, and I don't mean this to be offensive in any way.
Jared Leto, you son of a bitch.
I don't think if Heath Ledger had died, people would have taken his Joker to such a high level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like
I
the
appreciate
whole Kurt Cobain thing.
Exactly. I appreciate his Joker. It's way different than any Joker I've seen since or before.
Yeah.
I just wasn't a huge fan of it. It's cool, but it's not my thing.
No, I get your point. I think it's what I have to say is that his death definitely elevated that role.
Yeah, maybe
but
mythical.
Yeah, like you know, just like as I said like earlier, Kurt Cobain. Sorry to the Nirvana fans, but those songs were garbage. But you know, like it's just kind of. But as a performance, Ledger's Joker, it was a great performance because you can tell that he kind of applied his own things to it, like that whole lip licking thing. That was actually born out of necessity because the prosthetics keep falling out, and so he had to like moisten it up. But then he integrated that into the character, and it just kind of gave him this extra dimension of being, creepy. You know, neurotic and creepy and all this stuff with his little eccentricities. So that's genius. Mm-hmm. I think to the question of does this surpass Heath Ledger's Joker? In my mind, I don't even. It's hard to compare because they're
so different.
It's so different. I don't think that the comparisons need to be made, although I can see why people would make that comparison.
Yeah.
But I won't. It's just the same thing. Like I won't compare Cesar Romero's Joker to Heath Ledger's Joker. They're in different universes, and it's within the context of the films that they're in. They're great Jokers. That's why I know that Leto's Joker sucks, because in his own movie he fucking sucked.
I want to say this: people give Jared Leto's Joker a lot of shit, and I'm not a huge Joker fan. I'm not. Actually, I don't really like Batman or DC, but
how dare you?
I can sit back and appreciate them. I'm just not gonna, put them on my wall and shit like Star Wars stuff. But
I thought we were friends. But
think given another chance in maybe his own movie, he could have done something better than what we got. Because really, he only had 3 scenes in a fucking shit movie.
Yeah,
the whole movie was shit. You can't look at just his parts and say he sucked in this movie. No, the whole fucking movie wasn't good. I wanted to see more from Jared Leto. I thought he was kind of creepy and sleazy, which is
Mhm.
again a very different kind of Joker,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like a mob boss rather than just like
Yeah.
a soul. But I think that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is probably my favorite because he's genuinely fucking crazy. He didn't
Yeah.
go on a vat of acid. He was fucking nuts.
Yeah, he's definitely up there in terms of the Joker because he's the only one again that you kind of have like a real backstory to, you know, and it's hard to it's just hard to compare.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna get any of the third-party Joker figures
Already
from this
pre-ordered.
film? PJ, which one did you get? You got Toys R Us, didn't you?
I did.
Fucking sell
You
it.
are right.
Get the
Why?
SW Toys Master Race, baby. I
No,
think it's a
buddy.
better figure. I think it's
You
a
get
better
3
figure.
head sculpts.
Yeah, but you get those big ass seams on the suit. Big ass stitching
What?
on the suit. The stitching on the suit is huge. It's like,
Is it?
yeah, it's like really noticeable. Yeah, I went with SW Toys. The price, I talked about it last episode. I don't think I'm going to use a lot of the accessories, but no, I'm just fucking with you, PJ. I think that the Toys era, they fucking nailed it. The price is way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like 180, I think it was. We talked about it
Yeah,
yesterday,
it was
but I don't think
180
so, sure.
from TNS.
Yeah, that's a good price. That's a really good price.
Yeah.
It'd be a good figure for that price. Dean, are you gonna get a Joker figure?
No. But how much was the SW Toys one?
110.
Oh shit, that's pretty good. No, I don't know. I just like I said, I don't have DC stuff. I have one armored Batman, and I want to get Wonder Woman just to have those two. But like, I don't even have Superman. Like, I don't like Superman. That's it. I just have armored Batman just because he's so cool looking. But Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman. So
Truth.
High
He's
praise.
my favorite Batman too.
High praise.
I only had one complaint with Ben Affleck's Batman. I know that's not what we're here to talk about, but he's too funny. But that's what maybe he was not so like serious all the time, because that's what made me dislike him in like the Justice League cartoons. Like he was so rigid. Like people would try and like just silence. But
Yeah. My gripe with the Ben Affleck Joker is he can't hero land for shit.
oh, superhero landing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my design is pretty awful.
Anyways, do you guys have any shout outs you want to give? Any closing thoughts before we cut this one off?
Shout out Jason. He's the only one that agreed with me about Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh yeah, Jason in the chat says definitely truth about the overrating of the Heath Joker. Shout out to Gare. Gare's been in the chat for most of the night.
Oh,
shout out to Fernando, Greg.
Steven, it says Steven.
Steven's Collectibles is watching. Shout out to King Zachary. Zachary, if you're watching this, Dean's wants to get some deets for Secret Santa. So hopefully you guys are able to coordinate there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. What'd you say?
Damien just jumped on.
Nah, we don't like Damien.
What?
All right, I'm just kidding. Yeah, check out Small Talk episode 9.
Nice transition.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, guys, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
And I'm PJ. By the way, I want to give a shout out to my Samsung Galaxy S10 for hanging in there.
Yeah, shout out for
phone?
PJ's cat for making that funny noise once or twice. In the
Yeah.
Yo, for real, you're on a phone right now?
I'm on a phone, yeah.
God damn.
Dude, your video looks crispy.
Dude, I was going to say his video is crispier than mine and yours.
That's not true. Maybe yours, but not mine.
No, it's definitely yours. You're all great.
It's pretty true.
I could count the individual hairs on his beard. All right, guys. We love you.
All right.
Catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
See ya.
What a fun time.